Hello everybody, welcome to another live session, and as always we'll just sit and wait. I'm on my computer, so fingers crossed it will go okay. So I'm just waiting for it to connect in before I can see some comments or people turning up. So if anybody is watching, I would appreciate you typing in for me to see that the comment bar is working if you've got anything that you'd like to speak of or ask throughout this next hour. Hopefully it will only be an hour, I'll keep it succinct for you. And yeah, or just let me know to say hi, and we'll go there. We will wait and see. So we'll just sit for a few more minutes, as I said, and then I'll get started. So I can see some people coming in now. Thank you and welcome. So yeah, just type in for me. Let me know. I'd love to see just a bit of help here in the comments bar. So if there's something that can come through that it's working and I can keep a track of, and hopefully I'll see the comments tonight, or I just won't keep chatting away. Oh, hi Lisa, thanks for that. Hello Stacey, great, awesome, I can see you. So yeah, just type in away if you've got questions once we get underway, or even a question now, happy to. But tonight it's very much about our creatorship, so that's the path that I'm being guided to speak on tonight. So we'll see how we go. So welcome everybody, and I think I can, just so I can check, I can scroll down too as they come out. I'm usually on my phone, so this is just something else to get a little bit used to. So we'll give it a few more minutes because I know sometimes it's a bit slow for everyone to jump on. So welcome if you're just tuning in, either on my numbers or behind the scene, that a lot of people do. And we'll just give it a little bit longer. Thank you, thanks for joining in. I'm certainly getting more active now with my videos. It's just time. I'm being impulsed by my higher self, and of late Yeshua, to just keep putting out. So I do that. Oh, I've got a new little box that can tell me actually. Oh, hi Robin, how are you? So I'm actually getting numbers which I've not seen before. Awesome. So I'll get rid of that, make it easier. So welcome everybody. Keep coming on in. I know it's a probably tricky time with dinners for a lot of people, but this is just when I feel to do it. Okay. I'll just give it another minute or two. I usually give it about 5 minutes. So just get a drink, get yourselves comfortable, whatever you need. So say hi in the comments bar, it's always good. I like to see who's around, but how many I'm talking to, it always helps. And we can go from there. So get all these little boxes popping up tonight, and on me, I'll get rid of them, I think. So, okay, where are we? We'll give it one more minute till 7:04. And we'll see. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. Okay, well we might get underway because it's getting on to 7:04 now. So as I said, hi and welcome everyone, thanks. Tonight I had a very clear message. As we know, things are amping up. Our world in lots of ways, I'm sure, is amping up. We can see the world in lots of ways amping up in varying degrees, however we're perceiving that as positive or negative. But both are equal and both are valid, and we have to remember that. They're reflections of each other. But the main thing that I wanted to speak about tonight is our role. And I wanted to step it up a bit because, as I said, we are all being really asked now to, as the light workers, as the way showers, as beings who have contracted to being awake in this particular time, to not only do it for ourselves and to test our own waters and to see what capabilities of energy and light and sound and love we are, but to be able to be there as the beacons of light and the pillars really for those who are coming online, who are about to awaken, or when the major events of disclosure do arrive, that we will be there as support networks without any form of judgment, without any of our stuff attached, but to just be pure light as best we can be. So to do that, we kind of have to understand what we're capable of, because, you know, if we truly go to the source of all that we are made in the image of source of God itself. Whatever name you give, again, it doesn't matter. But we've been told that, and that is a highest truth. That is each one of our highest truths. We are made in that image. So we've heard that through scriptures, we've heard it through the Bible, you know, you may or you may not have, but there are some truths, and particularly in the old revelations, that are very specific, and they are written at the highest level, as cryptic usually for us to decipher, to discern and to awaken to, which is now the path we're on. But in our creatorship, where we forget the power that we have, and as humans, and the devolution over so many lifetimes that we agreed to, that we've chosen to play in this game. Keep remembering it's a game as best you can, or a movie. That every time we come back here, we keep forgetting and forgetting and forgetting. And you know now we're on the reversal of that, and we're rising and rising and rising. But to do that, we have to become very aware of us. And again, 3 major words I always reference back to, which have been huge for me in my walk, to move forward, to evolve, to grow in knowledge and wisdom and truth and love, is the 3 words, man, know thyself. Now, what that means is looking inward, and this is a totally inward journey where our ego and our physical self has been trained constantly to look outward, to look beyond us, that every answer, everything we're seeking, everything we're wanting is out there. And we know that's not true. It's now time, absolutely, to turn it round and go within, because we are the creator of everything we are experiencing in this world. And the main point that I feel that I was being impulsed to promote tonight, and we're going to get a bit more nitty-gritty, but the main point I want to show is even this incredible creation right now that we're seeing globally called COVID. Okay, because as I'm sure everybody's aware, we can see this incredible division, we can see this separation that's taking place, we can see judgment, and I put up a video earlier today about judgment, and we can see how, regardless of even our spiritual nature, and many people may think they're very spiritual, but if we're coming from a point of judgment, or we're coming from anger, or we're coming from a finger pointing place, or we're right, they're wrong, vice versa, we're in ego. We're not in our heart, and we're not in the truth. So what I wanted to start, as I said, is with greater collection, because when we understand, and always remember, and I said this in the last live, we are souls first and foremost, and we are truly being asked now to step up and to know this, to really know this absolutely, as best you can. You are a soul who has chosen this moment of now. You have chosen to be here. You have chosen to experience the now. If you weren't, if you hadn't, you would not be here on earth right now. You would be across the veil. That's as simple as it is. Spirit is very simple. There's no ifs, buts and justifications here. This is the truth. And tonight might be challenging for some too when we get down track. But this is truth. You are grand. At your soul level, you are of high multidimensionality. You are of the light. You are of truth. You are of love. In this realm, this tiny timeline that we're in, you've chosen to experience the opposites, the complementary aspects of the opposite of love. So we tend to fade in and out, where, you know, as we grow and evolve, we wane, we wax, we remember, we forget, we do all these things, and that's part of our growth, and that's fine, and not to judge any of that. But this moment right now, even if we're seeing family separating, if we're disappearing from people, if they're disappearing from us, if they're judging us, or we find ourselves judging others, if we're in fear, if we can see and we're worrying about, you know, the jab, if we're worrying about how people aren't waking, if we're looking at any aspect that brings fear or doubt into our world, we're not of love. And so it's a moment now of understanding that as soon as we can consciously recognise our choices in every moment of where we are choosing and what we are choosing to believe in, our beliefs in our creatorship are merging and aligning to the beliefs of all that we are in that vibration of that moment. So if we're in fear, we will align to fear. So if we're having fear in any aspect, we will see that coming back in our world. We will see and experience those same vibrations. We will call to us the people who hold the same vibrations, because we're just reflecting, as we do in our truth, as diamonds of light that we're becoming again. The diamond reflects. We said this last time. So our creator aspects are vital now. We need to be on point. We need to be truly looking within about where am I aligning in every moment as best you can. And while I don't want this to be a mental game of where am I, what am I doing, and no, okay, you will know instantly where your energies are if what you're seeing, experiencing, witnessing, even close up or distantly, if it's not of love, then you have a vibrational match. You are in co-creatorship, or you are in full creatorship of whatever you are experiencing, witnessing, observing even to a degree. Okay? So we know when we're reacting, it's ours. It's our stuff, full stop. Doesn't matter how much you say it's so-and-so, they did it, they're doing that, and that's why I'm angry and I'm feeling frustrated, and this isn't right. However it is that you're reacting, it's yours, full stop. Okay? You must stop. Take a breath, remove yourself and go within. And just feel what's happening. Just see what it is. And instead of trying to, again, label it, judge it, or do whatever, just let it flow through you. Just allow these feelings to come up like a wave, like a river. Just let them flow. Just feel them, experience them. Then you can discern whether they are serving you or not. Then you can let them go down the river. Let them flow on, transmute them, violet them. Again, however, it is your choice. This is your creation in every moment of what you're choosing to do, where you're choosing to move forward or not. Okay? So just be in that space, because we are very powerful, and we are really being asked now for the energies that are coming in. They will keep amplifying and amplifying. The light just simply shines upon all shadows within us and around us, collectively, individually. Okay? This has to happen because we must remember again, we chose this. We contracted to this a long time ago, in this lifetime and before. We've tried to do this before, but it didn't happen. But this one is absolute, that we've said we are going to get it right. Again, many are forgetting that. They have free will. They're choosing not to. That doesn't matter. What matters is what you are doing. Yourself to the highest degree possible that you can do in physical consciousness form. And you are fulfilling your purpose. Whatever adds to that, they're again your creations. But to truthfully and consciously create takes your focus. It takes your willingness to discern through the conscious, the subconscious when you can, and ultimately the unconscious of many, many thoughts, beliefs and energies that are just on offer and are referencing all your choices in that creatorship moment. So again, your highest purpose always is to create from the highest point of love, and ultimately only from love. That's what you're wanting to do. When we are creating from love, I can assure you, everything flows. And this is the other aspect of how do I know that? Do I need to go into my head? Do I need to work through that? No. Because when everything's flowing and graceful and wonderful and it's easy and it's light, you're in the right space. Your intentions, your energies are coming from that heart space because you're seeing grace and ease, which is your natural sovereignty. It is our birthright, which is how it is meant to be, how it is above this earth plane. And that is what we are aiming for. Okay, so anything less than that of joy and peace and love, there is a vibration that's taking you away from that magnificent point of creation. So I'm hoping this is making sense, but I'm just going to keep going because I'm not seeing anyone asking anything, just hellos at the moment. Okay. So that's on this grade 11. Now, again, COVID's really important because what I wanted to say here and bring in is we're in this magnificent window now called the Lions Gate. This is one of my favourite times of every year. I'm very aligned to the Lions Gate. It's a whole reset time where we are in a full alignment to the galactic source itself. We are in exact streams of golden creatorship light. But what's most beautiful about this time is with the line energy, we're talking about the frequencies of Sirius and Venus as they come together as one. So when we look at energetically these three, we have the golden streams of the galactic source, wisdom. We have the blue rays of Sirius, which are the first ray, the divine will, thy will, truth, strength, all that is of the divine throat chakra ray, power, true power. And then we have beloved Venus, the complement here of the divine feminine, who brings all the grace and all the creations and all the energies and frequencies of love and all those wonderful qualities of pink, crimson pink. So when we have these three, and this is a trinity again, so we're talking powerful frequencies. In this moment of the Trinity, we have the gold, the blue and the pink, the power, the love and the wisdom, the eternal flame, the threefold flame, until around approximate, and again we work on linear time till the 12th of August, but I've known the gate's been open for me to the 18th to the 20th of August. Again, don't lock into time. Go with what you feel. But this window we are now progressing through has the most monumental opportunities of wondrous creations that we can all individually and most importantly I feel now collectively come together to create, to make manifest this incredible energy that when we bring it with love and grace and all the divine qualities, we have this incredible opportunity supported and amplified to really make momentum, to make quantum leaps, to make these creations and to move towards this 5D paradigm shift that we're on. No coincidences now. So I would anticipate, again, in the next 2 weeks, 16 days roughly, whatever it works out, I haven't counted it, we're going to see some very interesting times on the physical plane. So like I said, when that light's coming in, it's shining on the shadow. And what does the shadow, the ego, do? It pushes back. It wants it gone. It wants to defend and block and push away the light. So we will see fear rising. We will see this division probably even more so. We will see fear-mongering even more. We will see a lot of energies of the light versus dark, so to speak, as the light amplifies untold times. But we will see this uncomfortable aspect for many, fearful, as I said, increasing issues that you may already be seeing, that you might be triggered by, fear raising within you, unsure about yourself, about where you stand again, which, you know, we have these, as I said, waxes and wanes within ourselves as the light adjusts. We're being purged as well, but the collective will be purged as well. So we will be having a very interesting couple of weeks ahead in preparation again for this purge. The purge has to happen because we can't truly again take the quantum leap until this raises up and we can consciously transmute it. So when we're triggered, this is yours, my opportunity to step back, to look within and say, what's this doing? How am I feeling? How am I reacting to this? As I said before, if you're reacting, work through that. If you can respond because you'll take the breath, you'll take that moment, and if you need to take action, you'll do it hopefully from that more enlightened heart space in your divine walk and talk. Or you may simply just be the observer. And that divine observer can still see things because you've had vibrational matches that you know you've been there, you've done that, you recognise that. But you are neither. You don't need to react, nor do you need to act. But you need to hold and to be and just to project the highest point of love that you possibly can to assist these purging moments. Because again, love is the answer. Always. Love is the only answer. And love, like violet, transmutes and raises all less than energies unto it, raises it and keeps raising it. And again, just like the light of gold of the illumination that it is, wisdom's flame, it will be drawing up. And this is what the violet does. When we accelerate the violet flame within us, when we accelerate love within us, we are saying we want to take more quotients of love light into our being. So to do that, we must have that exchange where we release and raise that which hasn't served us, so that we can incorporate, integrate, and then be that higher frequency that we are desiring to be. So I'm hoping that makes sense as well. And truthfully, at the end, you can just send me comments and I'm happy to answer any or as many as I possibly can. So this is what's happening on this bigger collective picture at the moment. So I can see clearly that we're seeing very pointed conversations to, again, delineate, to divide, and to pit people against one another. And this is what the darker forces, this is what ego will do. It wants to hold its inauthentic power. So it is doing everything in its wake to hold on, because ego knows when it's not holding on to consciousness. It knows and it fears that loss of traction, so to speak. And this is where we test ourselves in our creations, because when we think it's easy for us to create when we're good. It's easy for us to create and be happy when everything's flowing really great. But that's not testing ourselves to be able to hold the frequency. So we've set up these tests of darker times, of testing moments, to test us. So again, it's not outside of us, okay? All creations come from you. As mine come from me, your higher self, directing through your soul, is creating everything. However you perceive it, it is your creation, as is mine. So we will keep testing ourselves. How do we hold this frequency? Can we hold this frequency? Incoming test. Bring up our fear, bring up our doubt, bring up our less than frequencies. Let's recognize them. Okay, got them. Don't judge them. Just look at them, feel them, float them, let them move through, transmute them, hold them, know it, rise. This is the journey. We can't move forward. We truly can't evolve without this. So some may say, we just need to love our way through. We just need to love, and love is the answer, and that is it. That's all we need. Love is wonderful, yes it is, but this journey isn't just about love. And truthfully, love can keep you a little bit locked out in the fairyland sometimes, a little bit ungrounded, shall we say. We need to be fully centered. We need to have that knowledge that we are responsible, and this creatorship of owning our true roles in our creatorship makes us responsible. So this is where we might start to challenge a few people, okay? And I'm open to it, it's all good. But even the things that we don't like, even the creations we haven't enjoyed, our wounds, our pains and our memories, through our ego aspect, we will often and do say, well, it's because of so-and-so, it's because that happened, this happened to me as a child, this took place, I didn't have a choice in that, I didn't pick my parents, I didn't choose cancer, I wouldn't have picked this, why would I do that? That's ego. The reality is, as the soul, you chose to come in to experience all, because this level, I can heal like that. When I remember and I awaken, all is an illusion. But on the lesser planes, in the lower vehicles of our being, we have forgotten. And so we bought into the illusions. We forgot that we are powerful creators. We forgot that we can even change our circumstances. Yes, we can. And this is now the time that Spirit and your higher self, mine as well, Source itself, is saying it's time now to step up to your full responsibilities. You chose every part of your life. You have co-created and created every aspect with every player, regardless how dark, how wounded, how light, however that appears. Because you are magnificent. Because you are Source itself, an aspect of Source, with all the frequencies, all the knowledge and all the truth that Source is. You just chose to forget in the truth of the contract that you would awaken this time, and we are. This is the last time that we will be in this ego. This ego will be ceasing completely. So now we're on the purge to wake up to who we are. So yes, as harsh as it sounds, those that have cancer, my empathy, absolutely, my support is with you in love, but it's also with truth. Because again, the way I have learned now through me, and I mean, you're talking, and I said this on the video today, you are looking at in my previous version of this life, the most negative, fearful being walking the planet. And I don't say it lightly, I mean that. And the creations that I have experienced and taken myself through, and many of them very dark from a very, very early point in my life as a littlie, right through until I started waking up. I mean, I was Miss Victim, absolutely Miss Victim. I projected away from me everything. I blamed everybody. I took no responsibility for myself and my life. Everything was the problem except me. But I was the issue. I was the creator. And until I remember the moment I really woke up and got that message that I'm responsible. I am my own creator. And these are very powerful words, and I've said these to many groups and many people over the years. The moment you really understand those 3 words or 4 words, I am my own creator of everything I see, and you really mean it and hear it, you cannot blame ever again. You cannot project away from yourself anything. And the more you project, the more that you look outward to blame, to be victim, the less empowered you are. You are losing power constantly. The longer that you're holding on to the past, the old stories, you're draining your precious frequencies of true creative source power for wondrous creations that are equally available as are not so great creations right now. And what's the difference? Knowledge. Knowledge must be in the equation for true creatorship. You must have the knowledge of what you are doing, of understanding the consciousness, of understanding the power of love in the consciousness, and understanding the intention of all that you are placing out for your creational manifestation. Your intention is everything, but what's most important of your intention is what is the underlying energies of all these creations. Is it love, or is it a wound, or is it a lower frequency? Where is it coming from? So even as simple as it might sound, I was saying to a lovely client I had today, we've got so confused about love and fear that we've actually believed, and our beliefs are all powerful because they're creating consciously and unconsciously all the time through us, that I said we have just completely enmeshed and made incorrect that we've believed that fear is love. And the two, as we know energetically, they just cannot match. They do not correlate. They cannot. They are like oil and water. They're separate. But she, and she looked at me like a little bit confused, and I said, well, think of it this, how many times do we say, be careful, don't go over there. You need to, be careful, drive home safely, be careful. I don't really want you going over, I don't think that's a great idea, And when I've said to people, well, they're fear-based requests, they're fear-based actions, I've had many attack me. I get that, that's fine, because, until we know, we don't know, okay? Until we really discern, have a think about ourselves and absorb it, we can't know. We have to take that time to listen to ourselves and absorb and to work through something. But anywhere that there's fear, and that, be careful, be cautious. As I said, if we're sending off with someone with that energy of be careful, is that person's energy or is it our energy? And we think we're loving by telling them to be careful. But it's not. It's our fear that we're projecting upon someone. And look what we're doing to our children. Look what happened to us. Same deal. This goes on, and these how the patterns continue. Where truthful love-based intention or assistance to those that we care about would be, I'm going to give you the tools to look after yourself. I'm going to teach you what I've learned. You can take it or leave it, but I'm going to offer you these tools, these wisdoms, the things that I've now physically walked through, I've understood, I've tested for myself, to empower you so that you can make choices that will empower you. Again, and I've done this with my kids from an early age. I've taught them all the tools of the rays. I've taught them all the stuff. They know the violet, they know Archangel Michael, they know their protections, they know their tubes of light, they know their stars, they know it all from basics. And I gave that to them early so that I could then say to them, and I've let Elise go off to raves in the early days. I've always discern what feels right to me, but if it felt, I had to discern if this felt okay in truth, or if a part of me feared her going off to a rave when she was a teenager. So I had to discern those frequencies, and this can be about anything. That discernment, is it my stuff? Or is it okay? Is it my heart saying me yes, no? Because the heart will sometimes say, this is not in your highest good. And we honour that, right? And that's not fear. That is a discernment alert that the energies do not serve you. They're not okay right now. Be alert, be aware. That's not fear. Fear is saying, oh, I just don't think that's okay. I'm just worried that something will happen to you. Or, oh gosh, what, I don't like those drugs out there. And what if you take drugs? This is fear. So we have to watch our stuff as it comes into creators and co-creatorship aspects. And so I would teach Elise how to look after herself. I knew that she knew it, and there were times that I would say, okay, go, and I had to watch myself going, cut the cords, cut the cords, cut the cords, because I don't want my fear to become her creation. I don't want her to have to experience my stuff. I want her to experience her stuff. And so if she has a teaching, and if she does fall over, then we're going to discern that and work with it. And while some might say, oh, but what if the worst happened? And what if she overdosed? Or what if she did this? As we walk along this path, again, we learn to trust and have faith. And we have to learn that in our own unique way. But what I do know, in the moment my heart came to the truthful understanding that I have an entry date into this earth, and I have already a preordained exit date. And there's nothing I can do about that. There's absolutely nothing I can do about that, because it is divinely designed now. So get on with life. Get on with it. And if that moment comes, and however that may present, and I've had it with Gabby, I've had those moments that I've been on the precipice of watching her pass over. And I've had to struggle with that. I've had to learn surrender. Her soul took me through journeys of such points of darkness in me and such fear that I had to find that point of surrender and total faith and trust in Source to actually say, if this is in divine accord, let this happen, take her. And for a mother to let that happen to her child is massive. But I had to get to that point. And when I said that, and I'll never forget it, instead of feeling so pained and so sad, was the minute I surrendered, I have never felt so light. It's like this thing just shifted out of me and I felt light, and I went straight home, still wondering if this would happen, because I still had the doubt that I was still working through. But instantly I was taken to a phone. Spirit led me to a page here, and I ended up crossing pages, and I ended up into this biblical story of all places, which was divinely purposed, that then told me the story about the father who was asked by God to go and sacrifice his child on the mountain. And I just went, oh, and I thought, oh my God. And as I read it right the way through, at the end, the message was from God in this story, I would never, ever have asked you to sacrifice your child. These are your interpretations. This is the way you referenced the energies or the questions that you may have thought you were being asked. What I was actually doing was I was testing your faith in me. And I remember that so clearly, that I heard that message. And for me, from that point on, I have never, ever not trusted. I just trust in everything, that whatever happens is, and there's nothing that I can do about it. Because we can't. We can't control. So in our manifestations and our creations, let's bring that faith and trust in, because when we do, we're going to be creating with even greater energies and creating things we didn't even think possible. Because when we're creating from a controlled mindset, we can only control certain things, we can only manifest certain things because of the vibrational state in our belief system. But as we start to get to know more, we start to test ourselves, we start to research, we start to attempt to do more, walking through fear, we start to try that little bit extra, we go that little bit bigger in our requests, and we're careful of our intentions, and we watch our words, and we're willing, and our throat chakras are open, and we're aiming to choose the highest choices of free will and love design that we can do. Watch what happens. It's just incredible what we can do. And just as we think in ego, in our illness states, or in our not so desirable creations, that we can't do anything about it, I say to everybody, who says? Who told you this? Where did we learn these untruths? We've been programmed. Where do people believe, and again, here's these incredible beliefs we hold on to, really start looking at what you believe in. And again, people will mirror this. Whoever's in your face and you might be judging them, just watch your judgment, because you hold that belief. You hold the vibrational match, remember that. So watch the thoughts of, genetics. Again, I spoke quickly about this in my video today. But how many people continue to maybe do mammograms because, breast cancer's in my family. I don't want to get breast cancer. My mother might have had it, my sister might have had it. Well, I better get tested. Now, truthfully, I'm going to be upfront. Challenge me, don't care. But I'm talking from an energetic perspective, and I want this to really hit for whoever's ready to hear it. Because again, if we're testing ourselves, and if you've got to be honest about what your intention is in having the mammogram, and I'll use this as an example, why are you going? Is it from love and joy, or are you with fear? Are you having doubt and fear that you may end up with that same similar circumstance? Yes, you are. So that's why you're going to have the mammogram. So you're in a creation of fear that may well, in time, and the more you buy into the fear, the more of your power and the more of your fear you create to make manifest your creation, you will create your ultimate thing that you don't want. But it isn't genetics. As a physical being, we've been taught this, and this is all mainstream science can understand, because it's not looking at the quantum perspectives here. It doesn't know the quantum perspectives. It does, but a lot of them don't choose to look at it. Okay, but we're moving into this new dynamic. But this is the avenue we have to start questioning for ourselves. Why are we doing anything we're doing? Because the doing is our creation. So creation doesn't have to just be this dream that you're manifesting. Your creation is every tiny little step of the way you're making a choice. That's your creation. One simple choice like, I'm going to go out the front. That's a creation. I'm going to go and lie down. That's your creation. Then they have all different variances and according in variables, some big, some small, some fearful, some not so. But the fearful ones is what I really want you to start looking at. Why are you doing this? What's underlying it? And it's simply not judging. Again, we can't grow, we can't move forward, we can't change our creations if we're not being honest to us. If we're pretending and we're telling ourselves an ego will distract, it'll talk around, it'll justify, it does all these things we talked about before. But we have to just cut to the chase and just say, no, enough of that. Am I doing this? Yes, I am. Well, you've already made a new creative choice because you've stepped up. The truth is what the heart wants you to own, and you've raised your vibration. Now you've got another opportunity for the next part of the new creation. How do you want to proceed from here? Right, well, I need to have a little look at this. I need to sit with this. Great, sit with it. Here comes the knowledge. Here comes the wisdom. You're still making choices to grow. This is so important. Because if we just keep doing for the sake of doing, what are we doing? Are we shifting? Are we growing? No, we're just going round the wheel, the wheel, the wheel, the wheel. To change, we've got to shift the wheel. We have to jump off at some point and say, hang on a minute, which wheel do I want to be on? Is this one serving me, or do I want to go to this one? The next timeline is equally available as the one you're on now. The next higher timeline is going to be much better than the one you're on now. Let's aim for the next timeline. Let's shoot for the stars. Let's be honest about getting there. Let's be truthful about what we're saying, feeling, thinking, believing to make this new manifestation, creation real in our being, in our world. Anything is possible. Anything can't be possible when you believe it can't be. So it's shifting and tweaking, and as I've said for many, many years, it takes no more energy or no different energy really to think big than it does to think small. To dream big, you can do equally as it does to dream small. Which way do you want to look? Which do you wish to add your energy to? If you want to start small, nothing wrong with that. Test your waters, test yourself, get your boundaries, find your feet, dare to make the little jumps to gain your confidence, but then go bigger. Keep going, keep going. Again, healing takes place always when the person who is needing the healing chooses to heal. The client, the patient, the being cannot heal until they believe they are ready to heal and they want to heal and they believe that they will heal. And that's how healing occurs. And it's the journey through that. So again, we could be doing many different creations, and I think healing is really important because in healing I've seen many people, and it's not a judgment, it's an observation and witnessing the energy and understanding consciousness from where I sit, who again have much positivity and aim to be very positive through whatever their moment is. And positivity is great to a point, but positivity isn't going to push you through, and it's not going to jump the hurdle if you still have any doubt and fear behind the positivity, because let's face it, how many of us have been positive and pretended, and we say we're doing this, and yeah, it's all good, and yeah, it's great, and yeah, I'm feeling really fine, and oh yeah, I'm going to try that, and we know damn well as we're speaking those words, we don't have that truth and momentum behind them. What are we doing? We're just ruling out everything we were hoping to gain, and really what are we doing? We're lying to ourselves. It doesn't matter about anybody else, in truth. They don't truly matter. They're our co-creators in the movie. What matters is what are we saying to us? Are we believing what we're saying? And if not, just own it. Again, don't judge yourself. The old pattern of berating ourselves, pushing ourselves down. Oh, I thought I knew this, I can't do this. That's where ego wants you. It wants you to be back in the box and stuck. But it's finding the strength, bringing out that positive masculine, listening to that feminine, that divine wisdom as you can, to say, well, hang on a minute, what can I do? I might not know it right now, but oh God, I've got nothing else, I'm going to give it a shot. Well, you've just put your momentum and your power of belief in that moment of now to the new creation. And you do have to keep watching, because when we're creating, some things happen really quickly because they're the things that we believe in, easy, and they're nice and easy, and bang, they're happening, yay, and we're validated. But it's the big stuff that takes time, and it takes time because usually we've got some hidden agendas. We've got some hidden doubts somewhere behind us that we might not even be conscious to, that are interfering with the creation. So until we learn to come into us, until we learn to start to listen to us, and what am I really saying here? Do I believe what I'm saying? And truthfully, this is what I say to myself. I put something out, I think at first, is this what I want? Yep, feels okay. Do I believe I can have it? Is there something that's blocking this? Can I feel this tiny little in me, or really loud, that's going, no, that's going to be a hindrance? Right, well, don't go there yet. Don't even bother. Look at this. What's this about? Work with that part that's going to interfere with your ultimate creation. Sort with this, align, acknowledge it, recognise it, own it, bless it, love it, bring it in, forgive it. Just bring it into that beautiful, energetic, feminine balance of acknowledgement, acceptance. Retweak the words, retweak the thoughts. How can I just fine-tune this a bit so I can believe it, to give it the momentum I want, to get it across the line, so to speak? Then project. Put it out there as your creation. Anything is possible. We are our ultimate creators. We have the ability to heal ourselves, absolutely. And I always remember years ago seeing a woman, and this is back in the 90s, so it was early days, but she was on Oprah, of all shows. Back then it was a light show. And she came on and she was telling her story, and she had it started out with acute ovarian cancer, and they gave her 6 months to live. She had 2 boys and a husband. and she fell apart, as we do. So then she had issues around that. She was struggling. She was on chemo. She had the boys at home. Then her husband came forward and said that he was leaving her, and he did. So then she collapsed even more. Then she developed breast cancer. So now she had the double whammies happening. The doctors gave her 3 months, if that, to live. It was hopeless. It was this, all the typical scenarios. She was doing everything, the radio, the chemo. And this was in the US, obviously. And she said, she tells of the day where she was over the toilet bowl vomiting her guts up. She heard her boys in the kitchen. She said, I just didn't care any more about them, what they were doing. I couldn't care. I wanted out. I was going out of this door. It was all too hard. And then she heard an almighty sound and a crash and a bang and whatever took place. And she thought, I can't even be bothered if they've hurt themselves. She said, the youngest one came in and said, Mum, don't worry. He said, I've just burnt the bottom of the saucepan, but the top half's still good. Everything's okay. And he left. And she said, in that moment, she just had that truth, that encodement, that light that triggered her, and she just went, well, the bottom half of me might be burnt, but maybe the top half of me is still okay too somewhere. And she started her journey inward. And she went through it. She just disposed. She went through a whole heap of emotions, energy. She worked through the, husband. She worked through a whole, whatever the ovarian stuff was about. She went deeper and deeper within. Within the year, all cancers were gone. Doctor said, aren't you lucky? No such thing as luck. No. Spirit is not random. It's precise. She did this herself in her power of belief, in her willingness to heal and to grow. She brought her momentum in. Then she, at the 12 months free of cancer, she had always wanted to work in car yards. She got a job. She knocked on 12 doors, got a job in the 12th, 13th car yard. She then became a car saleswoman of the year a year later. And then a year later after that, she was then owning 2 car yards of her own, and she was turning, I forget how many $1 million profits that she was doing. I'll never forget her story, because back in the 90s, I was just really, coming online too, and I thought, wow, anything's possible. And so again, it's not saying, the poor people that may pass over from cancer or whatever condition, disease. Remember, people only pass over because it's time. It is preordained. And those that stay are meant to stay. For whatever lesson, whatever the teaching, whatever the mirrors, whatever is the greater creation, everything is divine. And in that knowledge, we can let go a little. We can free ourselves from fear. We can really free ourselves from a lot of fear. And that includes now. This current climate that many are fearful of what this means, of what we can do and what might happen and what are the outcomes and what if and what's this future going to look like. Be very alert to where you're giving your energy of creation to. Because, again, you don't want to be creating it, you don't want to be feeding it your fear to create something that you don't want. Instead, feed it your light. Feed it the love. Work through what's coming up for you, but love, love, love is the answer for all. And all souls in fear, the darkest, most darkest people who you might see on the planet or who you know of or you've even met in the past, they are the ones that are low in amplitude of the love flame. And this was the video that I posted this morning again. And that was a great teaching that Lady Nada, Mary Magdalene, gave me many, many years ago. Love truly is the answer. And I don't mean let's have a hug, let's give a kiss. I don't mean that love. I mean the true source power of love, of truth, of knowing, of trust and faith in the self and of all that is, to deliver the grace through you as the clearest vessel that you can possibly be for every man, woman and child to their mighty I am presence on this earth now. And that will assist the transition. We have to go through the rocky times of creations to learn. We have to go through the moments of darkness, because the dark is a reflection of the light, as the light is a reflection of the dark. They are indivisible, they are one. We can't have one without the other. And we must see this, because for so long we've not even recognised the darkness within the self, least of all the collective where it gathers. And at the highest level, we are all in agreement to this, and we must remember the souls first. We are in agreement to everything that we are now witnessing. It's our personality, and it's the traits of our personality that we find where we're reactive or how we're responding. Okay? This is the message that I would really love for you to take away tonight. So yes, you can change anything. You can change everything by the power of your belief, not just being positive, but really listening. Do I believe what I am saying? That's really powerful. And be honest, if you don't, reassess. Retweet, go again, and reset for your creation, everything that you do. Okay? So how are we going? Oh, we're under an hour, doing well. I'm not sure, I'm just going to scan if I've got any questions, but I don't think so. I think they're just hellos. If there's any questions, you can flick them to me now. I guess what I'd love to know, if anybody is watching, does that make sense? Does that feel right? Because I do know truth can challenge at times, and I do know illnesses, we've been trained to think in certain ways. And I'll bring this up too, just in case somebody wants to write something, and I'll give that a few minutes. But again, discussing today with my lovely client, we brought up about healing groups, support groups, and I've said this to others in the past, but I'll bring it up again because I think it's important. Because again, who we create with is vital. Okay, and we're going to create and co-create, and we're going to learn, and we're going to evolve, and we're all aiming now to move into our co-created groups with our true light family, our true love family groups, because then we're going to be creating with the fifth dimensional energy and creations that are going to serve humanity, not just us. The ego likes to create and keep its desires okay, which is again why we are seeing the ego perspective is it wants everything to go back to normal. It just wants to travel. I'm just going to do this because the ego desires are being met. That's the truth. Okay. The heart and the higher purpose creations are the recognition that we may have to walk some rocky roads here for a little while, because we need to have these purges, we need to have these experiences for growth and learning, and we ultimately are going to gain in faith and trust and rise in our understanding of everything. That is the higher perspective and the higher path. And it works on the greater collective of humanity's experience, as opposed to just the me aspect of ego. So, these quick fixes, they're ego-based again. Spirit is never about a quick fix. We have to go through the deeper understanding of what this creation we have chosen is all about, and how we can work through that experience and recognize lower frequencies and raise them within ourselves. So we're at this incredible moment of time where, again, we allow, as I said, we have all created, and we are aligning with those who vibrate like us, who think like us. So similarly, as we might be aligning now to those of high vibration who are seeing that greater humanity aspect, and we come together, always watchful of what comes up if there's any less than frequencies. We also have the complementary opposite of that, of the lower vibrations merging together. And so they're coming together at more of a base chakra level, which again, like vibrations, just support one another, and they feed each other and they grow. But it doesn't mean it's always in the highest good. So the same goes with support groups as well, whether it be for whatever condition that we might create a support group for. What is again the intention of the group we are creating? Because many of the old support groups, and again, hate to harp on cancer, but it's one of the biggest money spinners in the world. It's got the most money, yet there's no cure. We wonder why, because there is no cure. It must be coming from within each person. But a lot of support groups are supporting wounds. They're not supporting the healing, the true healing. And many may go to empower themselves, to find ways through. But, and I'm not saying all, but I do know a lot of them do, that by simply rehashing a story, by going over what you're needing to say, going through your drama, your wound, your victim, your aspects, without the growth of understanding why, and that someone to guide you through the truth, to take you into the heart aspects of what you've just created for the higher purpose and teaching, the wound group continues to remain, and many just support the wound and they better each other. Their story's better. Oh, no, well, I had to go through this. Did you go through that? And every time we're rehashing and regurgitating, we are just reactivating the wound. That's all we do. We're not actually growing. And I said today too, I remember years ago in Coffs when I was there was a church down the road from us next to the shops. And they used to have a group, but this one day outside the front was this massive sandwich board. And I will never forget it because I looked at it and it literally had Wounded Women's Group here, 12 midday. And I just went, oh, no. Oh dear, oh no. The energies are also wrong because it's saying, come in if you're wounded and we're going to support your wounds. A Wounded Women's Group. And I thought, oh, what do I do? And I was really, maybe it was my ego too going, do I go in and tell them? Do I, show them the way? And I thought, no, I don't need to do that. That is ego. And I just sat there and to the highest good of all involved, I just sent love. I sent love and I said, can we just raise this to Healing Women's Group? Can we raise it to Healing Women's Group? And I just kept sending that intention for all who were involved to hear, receive, if that was going to happen. And I let it go, moved on. And then I noticed the following week there was no sign out at all. It just never came back out again. So I kind of thought, well, that might be a little shift. Who knows? But again, that's just another example of intentions behind, because some people do actually, and a victim will want to hold on to its wound. A victim does not want to heal. And my client today said, what about AA? And I thought about that and I thought, well, this goes for anyone again with anything. And what I said right at the beginning of tonight, unless the client, the person, the being wants to heal, they won't. Full stop. Until you, me, whoever chooses to actually aim to heal, intend to heal, and do everything we can to learn how to make that in our world and to find all these incredible skill sets again, it can't happen. So again, our intentions are everything in our creatorship. And to be very aware of where you're saying, what you're saying, who you're aligning to, where you know that you may not be speaking, and you're in fear for speaking, watch everything now where you're at and what you're doing, because in that moment you're creating something for yourself. You'll be creating the next step of your creation journey as to whether you remain in fear or whether you evolve. So I hope that gives some insight. That's kind of what I feel that they want to. As I said, I'm open to your questions and I'm happy to answer anything at any other point or reply back to you. I hope this all made a little bit of sense and gives you some food for thought. But these are wondrous times, as I said. Lionsgate we're now in. 8/8 is the Lionsgate per se, the date that I'm not sure whether I'll do a meditation yet. I always wait till the last minute usually. But, we are in the new galactic cycle. So this is a time of creation, and as we create, we go through death cycles. Remember that. We're all cyclical, so we'll go through the death cycle for the rebirth. We have to let go in order to create anew. So don't fear what's coming up. Keep remembering whatever it might be coming up, going, oh, not this again. Oh, God, I thought I'd done this. It's coming up because you might just be needing to remove another layer. Trust in that. Or you just missed something on the previous round, so you just need to just transmute that again, let it go again. Every time you're shifting, you're raising, you're releasing, it's getting easier and easier as you move along. So you get less and less, it gets quicker and quicker. But stuff comes up as you're ready to shift. Don't forget that, okay? Watch where you go. If you go down or if you can hold yourself in neutral zone to find the truth, to go, no, it's coming up because I must be ready for movement. Yes. Find that positive energy, bring that power forward and say, right, what can I do? Where am I going? Let's do this. Boom. Off you go. All right? So use these amazing energies. Call to whoever. Beautiful lion energies. The lion is the real symbol of this Lion's Gate. The lion, lioness, read them up, their medicine, their strength and what they're about. They're the golden ray, the mane. The hair is always like the antenna to spirit. Have a good read, do your research, and just enjoy and keep light as best you can and keep pulling out in every moment that you can. When you know you're bogged in, pull out as soon as you can. Become the observer always as best you can be. All right. Thanks, everybody. I hope I haven't held you up too long. I think we're just on the hour. So blessings to you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye. Now I've got to work out how to stop the video. There we go. See ya.